Harry, who do you like to win in the NFC?
I'm going to go with the Los Angeles Rams, the defending champions. The only question I have about them right now is two spots on their offensive line. They lost Austin Corbett. Also, Andrew Whitworth decided that he wanted to retire. Is that run game going to be valuable from start to finish? You got Cam Akers coming back healthy, Darrell Henderson Jr., but I think they have enough pieces everywhere else. I just think that offensive line, replacing those two guys that I just mentioned, is the question mark right now for me.
What about you, Chris?
Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Harry. And I'll take it a step further, and you have to look at the defensive side of the ball for the Rams, too. Losing Von Miller, I question where that secondary edge rusher is going to come from. We know they have Leonard Floyd and they've got Aaron Donald, but you got to remember how big Von Miller was in the playoffs for the Rams. I think the Rams have to be given the respect as the team to beat because they are the reigning defending Super Bowl champs. But I think the team that's the primary challenger to them is not the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's a team in their own division, the San Francisco 49ers. Think about this, guys. Over the last 3 years, the 49ers have played the Rams 7 times. They've beat them 6. And the only loss that they had was in the NFC Championship game this past year. And you can make an argument that they should have won that game had Jaquiski Tartt made that interception late in the second half. So I'm looking at the 49ers as the primary challenger because you're talking about a team that has a really strong offensive line, a really strong defensive line. They were top 10 offense, a top 5 defense, and you're talking about a skill position core that's amongst the best in football. The biggest question mark is what you're going to get from Trey Lance. But, guys, let's be honest. It's not as if Kyle Shanahan's offense asked the quarterback to do a lot of heavy lifting. Over the past 3 years, Jimmy Garoppolo was 24th in percentage of throws that went beyond 10 yards from the line of scrimmage. And for its proper context, they were 29th in pass attempts. Okay, last season, the 49ers receivers were tops when it comes to yards after catch. So you're really relying on the skill positions to do the heavy lifting in the passing game. The thing I think is interesting about Trey Lance is that he brings a different element to this 49ers offense because he allows Kyle Shanahan to have a quarterback that can be a focal point in the running game. And if you look at the Shanahan tree, when you look at their offense, going back to his dad, Mike Shanahan, they've had the most success when they've had mobile quarterbacks. Think about this. John Elway, Brian Greasy, Jake Plummer, Jay Cutler, even RG3 with the Washington Commanders. All of those offenses have been top 5 offenses. So I'm sitting here looking at this situation. I think the ceiling, the potential for this 49ers team is huge because they're going to have Trey Lance at the helm and not Jimmy Garoppolo. So I think they're a team that you got to watch for to upset the Rams in the NFC. There's a reason why our very own Louis Riddick said that Trey Lance is a dark horse MVP candidate.
Yeah, Chris, you make a lot of really good points. I really like the 49ers, particularly their roster, but I'm going to give the defending Super Bowl champs their just due. They do have question marks on both sides of the ball, particularly on the offensive line and replacing Von Miller. But I just, I'm a big Sean McVay guy. I think Sean McVay he has figured this thing out because as far as the culture, he'll be able to plug guys in those particular situations. I think Allen Robinson coming over is going to be huge. Another piece in that passing attack. I think Van Jefferson is going to take another step forward as a young wide receiver. Cam Akers, now he's a little bit further removed from that Achilles injury that he came back in the same season and played. He should be a lot more dangerous. So I think while I do buy a lot of what you're talking about, Chris, with the 49ers, they're going to be awfully dangerous. I'm going to give the respect that the Rams give them their respect as far as defending champs and figuring out some of those pieces that might be questionable coming into the season.
Now, speaking of pieces, Harry, I'm going to start with you. Todd Bowles is taking over for Bruce Arians, all right? There's a lot of pressure here. Can you talk to me about what kind of pressure he's under to put the pieces together to have a deep run with Brady?
Well, I'll say, first of all, you look last year, this team wasn't healthy defensively. Yeah. Their secondary, they was dismantled starting from game 1 when you had one of your star corners get hurt against the Dallas Cowboys. They did add some more pieces to this. Akeem Hicks, I think Akeem Hicks is going to be a bigger piece of this team than a lot of people give credit for. When he is healthy, I think he is one of the most physical, one of the most nastiest defensive linemen out there to go along with Shaq Barrett, to go along with Vita Vea and the rest and company. You have 2 of the most athletic linebackers in the National Football League as well, but they have depth in their secondary as well. They brought over a guy that I think is one of the smartest football players that I ever played with. And Logan Ryan, he's going to be another guy that can play corner, that can play nickel, that can play safety, that can be a blitzer, that can tackle well. But he is under pressure because you have a guy named Tom Brady, and it looks like it's going to be his last season. And I'm hoping they didn't lose Jensen, but it's looking like you're going to lose your starting center to go along with 2 other pieces that you lost on your offensive line last year. So it's going to be pressure for Todd Bowles to get it done.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.